Welcome to MSP lecture series on main group chemistry. In my previous lecture, I was discussing about methods of extraction of boron and aluminum from their respective minerals. And let me start the discussion on chemistry of boron and aluminum compounds. To begin with, let me consider discussion on hydrides of boron. The simplest hydride of boron is gaseous diborane. Of course, the simplest one should have been BH3. It does not have an independent existence and it dimerizes readily. As a result, for all practical purpose, we can consider the simplest hydride of boron as B2H6. Higher borons do exist. They can be liquid such as B5H9 and solids such as B10H14. Of course, we have numerous examples of boron hydrides, both neutral as well as anionic. I shall give more details on those things when I consider Wade's rules for explaining structures in boron hydrides. The boranes are essentially cleaved by Lewis bases because they have electron deficient BHB bridging bonds. Okay. So, one can expect them to readily cleave in presence of stronger Lewis bases. Boron form more hydrides than any other group 13 element. Of course, perhaps after carbon, boron is the second element among p block elements to form largest number of hydrides. Majority of these boron hydrides are electron deficient compounds. That means they have both 2 center to electron bonds and 3 center to electron bonds. That means most of the boron hydrides have a few terminal BH bonds which are 2 center to electron, and some of them are bridging BHB where we come across 3 center to electron bonds. These compounds can be classified into two groups. One is BnHn plus 4 and BnHn plus 6. Two types of boron hydrides we come across. Okay. Of course, one can prepare diborane starting from a metathesis reaction. For example, one can consider boron trifluoride etherate. Simply reacting this one with lithium borohydride in an ether solvent such as diethyl ether or tetrahydrofuran. Okay. And in case of lithium borohydride, okay, and lithium aluminum hydride, if we consider lithium borohydride and lithium aluminum hydride, similar to lithium hydride, are good reagents for the transfer of H minus, but they are generally preferred over lithium hydride and sodium hydride because they are soluble in ethers. So, that is the reason in organic chemistry, wherever we want to transfer hydrogen, we prefer lithium borohydride or lithium aluminum hydride simply because their solubility in organic solvents such as ethers. So, they are preferred over lithium hydride or sodium hydride. Okay. So, higher boron hydrides contain the same structural features as that of B2H6, where we come across 3 center to electron bonds. Okay. And how to prepare higher boron hydrides? It is simply by taking diborane and heating at different temperature, one can get higher boron hydrides. For example, B2H6 on heating at temperature 100 to 120 degree centigrade leads to the formation of B4H10 plus H2. So, instead if diborane is heated to a temperature of 180 to 220, it leads to the formation of B5H9. Okay, so some boron hydrates I have listed here. You can see under BnHN4 plus I have listed few examples here. For example, B2H6, B5H9, B6H10, B8H12, B10H14. Under BnHN plus 6 series, I have listed a few examples. They are B4H10, B5H11, B6H12, B8H14, and all of them invariably have some terminal BH bonds and some bridging BHB. So, in BHB one can expect 3 center 2 electron bonds typical of diborane. You can see here in case of boron, prior to the formation of say BH3, it promotes one of the electron to the P, and then it undergoes sp3 hybridization to have 3 sp3 orbitals having 1 electron and 1 sp3 with no electron. So, they arrange in this fashion and they interact with 1s electron of hydrogen to form a center like this. These two are terminal where we have 2 electron each. Here we have no electron, here we have 2 electrons. So, as a result it becomes 3 centered BHB, 3 centered 2 electron bond. So, similarly we have one here. Okay. So, similar type of bonds you can anticipate wherever we have a hydrogen bridging 2 electron deficient boron atoms in most of boron hydrates. Okay. So, all the boron hydrates are flammable, and several of the lighter ones including diborane react spontaneously with air and often with explosive violence and a green flash emission from an excited state of the reaction intermediate involving a species such as BO. The final product of the reaction is essentially the hydrated oxide. For example, if we expose it to oxygen, the product one can see here. For example, if you take B2H6, on exposure to oxygen, it can give So, if you expose B2H6 to moisture, So, one has to be extremely careful while handling boron hydrates. Strictly they have to be handled under inert atmosphere, and moisture and air should be excluded, and also whenever we are using solvents, organic solvents, all these reactions has to be carried out in non-aqueous medium and in super dry organic solvents, preferably ether such as higher ether such as diglyme or triglyme. So, some structures I am showing you here. For example, B4H10, this is how it looks like, and B5H9, they are all originated from these structures from regular polyhedron, and of course, when I describe Wade's rule for depicting the structure of boron hydrides, I elaborate more on these aspects, and I will show you all kind of polyhedron we come across from how to derive the boron hydride structures starting from regular polyhedron. These are couple of examples of homolytic boron hydride compounds. For example, AlBH3 3 times, you can see here AlBH3 3 times, in which 2 hydrogen atoms are acting as bridging, whereas 2 we have terminal. So, aluminum is octahedrally surrounded by 6 hydrogen atoms. So, similarly we have tetra Kiss boron hydride zirconium. So, here we have essentially surrounding zirconium 8 we have. So, as a result zirconium is in at the center of anti-square prismatic geometry, and one can also see here zirconium having as many as 8 coordination. Couple of them are trimethyl phosphine and rest of them are tri-bridging boron hydrides in this way. Okay. So, let us look into the properties of these boranes. So, these boranes are Lewis acids because of electron deficiency, and they are soft and bulky Lewis bases. That means, whenever we take boranes and treat them with soft and bulky Lewis bases, cleave diborane symmetrically. If I use the term symmetrically, you can think that there are two ways of cleaving these boranes. One is symmetrical cleaving and another one is unsymmetrical cleaving. Unsymmetrical cleaving, soft and bulky Lewis bases cleave diborane symmetrically, and more compact and hard Lewis bases cleave the hydrogen bridge unsymmetrically. Although they react with many hard Lewis bases, diborane is best regarded as a soft Lewis acid. Okay, so I will show you those symmetrical as well as unsymmetrical cleaving. For example, diborane is treated with trimethylamine. If it is treated with 2 equivalents of trimethylamine, so it can cleave this one symmetrically like this. So, in this one it results in the formation of of course, one can also write conveniently this one as this is the standard practice. It indicates boron is tetrahedrally surrounded by 3 hydrogen atoms and 1 NMe3, and NMe3 lone pair is going towards boron. Okay. So, in case of unsymmetrical, let me consider here. For example, if I treat this one with 2 equivalents of ammonia, it unsymmetrically cleaves the bond. So, unsymmetrical cleaving is here. Okay. So, this leads to essentially minus, and then we have another one plus. So, this shows symmetrical and this is unsymmetrical. So, soft bulky amines cleaves symmetrically and hard simple Lewis bases cleave unsymmetrically. Let us look into one more important reaction we come across with boron hydrides, that is hydroboration. Okay. So, hydroboration is nothing but the reaction of diborane with alkenes in ether solvent to produce organoboranes. Okay. I repeat again, hydroboration reaction is nothing but the reaction of diborane with alkenes in ether solvent to produce organoboranes. So, organoboranes are very useful intermediates in synthetic organic chemistry. For example, you can use diborane, or one can also use a borane ether adduct. For example, one can use adduct here. When it is treated with an alkene, preferably in ether solvents, ethers. Okay, so it forms CH3, CH2, BH2 plus R2O comes out. Okay. So, the BC bond here in the primary product of hydroboration is an intermediate stage in the stereospecific formation of CH or COH bond. That means, further if you carry out this reaction, one can make CH bond or one can also make COH bond. From the inorganic chemistry point of view, the reaction, this hydroboration reaction is a very convenient method for the preparation of a wide variety of organoboranes. Okay. Let us look into another interesting ion, BH4. Okay. So, this is also called as tetrahydroborate ion. Of course, here if we have sodium, we call sodium borohydride, and if you have lithium here, we can call lithium borohydride, and simply this ion can be termed as tetrahydroborate ion. So, this ion is an useful intermediate for the preparation of metal hydride complexes and a variety of borane adducts. Diborane reacts with alkali metal hydrides to produce salts containing BH4 minus. So, because of the sensitivity of diborane and lithium hydride, one should not carry out these reactions in water or under atmosphere. So, these reactions has to be carried out, as I had mentioned already, in non-aqueous medium using very dry organic solvents. Okay. So, here simply one can take B2H6, treat with 2 equivalents of lithium hydride to generate very useful this lithium borohydride. Okay. So, this reaction is essentially carried out in diglyme or triglyme. They are higher or high boiling ethers. Okay. Okay. So, although this BH4 minus ion is thermodynamically unstable with respect to hydrolysis, the reaction is very slow at high pH, and some synthetic applications have been devised in water as well. For example, germane, that is GeH4, okay, can be prepared by dissolving germanium oxide and potassium tetrahydroborate in aqueous potassium hydroxide and then acidifying the solution. Okay. For example, here I will show you that reaction, how one can conveniently carry out in aqueous medium as well. So, this is how one can do, but these reactions are very rare. Not often we come across this kind of situation where boron hydride can be used in aqueous medium. Okay. Just let me give some reactions showing the formation of higher boron hydrides starting from diborane. For example, B2H6, when it is treated with sodium borohydride, at 363 Kelvin in diglyme, it gives anionic boron hydride NaB3H8 plus H2. Okay. Similarly, one can start from anionic boron hydride, the same that is generated right now. This is when it is treated with hydrochloric acid. It gives neutral boron hydride B4H10. So, one can see whether the equation is balanced or not. When B3H8 minus is treated with 5 equivalents of HBr, it gives B3H7Br minus plus 5 equivalents of H2 will be liberated. Okay. The same reaction, when it is carried out at elevated temperature 100 degree centigrade, for example 373 Kelvin, okay, it gives a different boron hydride B5H9 plus 4H2 plus 5Br minus. Okay. One more example I will give you. Let us take B3H8 anion. I heat this one at 435 Kelvin in diglyme. It gives Na2B6H6 plus 5H2. The structure of this one is very similar to planar benzene molecule. Okay, so I was using these terms diglyme, triglyme. So let us see what are those. They are, I said, acyclic polyethers. Okay, so let me write the structure for diglyme. Okay, so now make an attempt to name this ether. Of course, one can write several names for them. 1 methoxy, okay, 2 methoxy ethoxy, ethoxy ethane. So, this is one way of mentioning, or simply one can write with a 2-methoxy ethyl ether. This is another way of writing, or one can also write its name di-2-methoxy ethyl ether, or another name is there, diethylene glycol, okay, dimethyl ether. Okay. So, this is okay. Essentially, they are high boiling ethers. Wherever you require to go for higher temperature, okay, one can conveniently use these ethers. Triglyme is this one. So, this is triglyme. In the same fashion, you make an attempt to name this one as well. Okay. So, as I mentioned, diborane finds a lot of applications in organic synthesis. Let me write a few reactions here. Already I showed you the reaction with ammonia. What would happen if it is treated with sodium mercury alloy or sodium amalgam? It forms sodium borohydride plus B3H8. So, one can get these two, and if we react this one with CO, carbon monoxide, at 470 Kelvin, okay, CO is 20 bar, you can simply get the adduct. Okay. If it is treated with methanol, it will give of course, I did not balance it. You can always balance by looking at how many molecules of methanol is needed. So, in general, okay, if you use soft bulky Lewis acids, what you get is so adduct. If you treat this one with HX, what you get is B2H5 X plus H2, that also I showed you. And if you treat with lithium aluminum hydride, okay, in ether, you can get lithium borohydride. Because you take here, you get this one. Okay. So, what would happen if you treat this one with of course, I already showed you this hydroboration reaction. If you take this one, what you get is 2 CH3 CH2 whole thrice boron. This you get it. Of course, here I will go further. If you take here, if you add H3O, that means H plus, what it can give is 3 C2H6 plus BOH thrice. What would happen if we add here H2O2 at this stage? What you can get is 3 C2H5 alcohol, you will get ethanol plus same BOH thrice. I think this will do. Of course, if you want more example, always you can go to any organic chemistry book and look into the chapter on hydroboration. You will come across several such reactions. Let me stop here and let me continue in my next lecture on aluminum hydrides. Okay. Thank you very much and have a very wonderful inorganic chemistry reading. Thank you.